Hi everyone, welcome to another picture from the I'm just going to give my page a sweep from the Ivy and the Inky Butterfly page. We're on the beginning of the third row now, and it's really sunny in here, and I think my camera is adjusting and it seems a little bit dark. I'm not sure. I'm sort of getting used to my new setting and my new room really, and hoping it's all okay. So we've got this very pretty looking plant here. Now I'm just having a look around and trying to decide on a colour. Looking at the page as a whole, I think we're going to do, we've got a yellow one above here, look, and an orange. We're going to avoid those. We might do a blue, I think. A blue would suit this, I think. So we're going to do a few shades of blue. It's quite fine, but I think we can do it. I'm going to start with my lightest, which is going to be the Cobalt Turquoise, and colour the whole of this really lightly in the turquoise to start with. It's sometimes I just feel like I just want a little layer of colour down to get me started. Sometimes I start with my darkest colour and put that down, then add the light at the end. And sometimes I start with my lightest colour. Some people have a preference one way or the other. Some people think one way is the correct way. For me, it depends how my mood takes me. I'm now going for the next darkest blue. I think we've done something with these blues before. That's okay. Cerulean Blue Light is the next darkest blue. I'm going to give it a sharpen because we've got quite a fine detail here. And I'm just using my Staedtler sharpener. It's getting quite old. That says Noris Club, by the way. But I may need to. I keep changing the blade, so it's lasting a nice long time. So what I'm trying to do here is get into the bottom of the petal, maybe, and get the most layers in and then reduce them towards the sort of tip. I'm saying petal with a question mark because I'm not sure if each one is a little round flower or sort of bud. I'm trying to sort of imagine what this plant might be similar to, whether it's sort of like a grape hyacinth with lots of little rounded parts. If it is, this is the wrong colour, but it doesn't matter. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's such a small detailed piece. It can be a little tricky to allow you to see because the pencil is sort of covering, but hopefully you can see I'm doing more layers here at the bottom, a few less as we go up, and I'm trying to use a little circular movement as much as I can, but it's a little tricky sometimes because of the shape of the little bit that we're colouring. So I'm going to continue with the same method all the way up. So there we go. So I hope you're all having a good day. It might be that it's first thing in the morning and your day hasn't started, or it's a bit later on. If you're new to this series of videos, we're completing the whole of this page from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. There is a playlist with all of the pictures in. I'm not sure if I've actually linked to the playlist in the description of the video, which would be a useful idea. I will have to check that. In fact, I'll just note that down now on my notes so that I remember to do it, because that is useful. And then it means you can easily find all the videos from this page, whether you've missed one or them all, or there's just one that you want some help with, you know. But I like pages like this where there's lots of little items. I think it's great because it means if you've only got a very small amount of time in your day, you can complete something. You know, if you're doing a page which has is sort of a scene or something like that. Yes, you can still pick out a flower or a, I don't know, a leaf or something to colour, but when you've got a separate item, it just feels more like you've completed something when you've completed a little item, I think anyway. Okay, that's quite pleasing for me. So that's the Cerulean Blue Light. I'm going to go darker again. I'm actually going to step up. That's a bit of a big step up. Hang on. No. Yeah, I think we'll have to do the sky blue. I'm just looking, I've got a fairly limited range of blues. I think I've only got 4 or 5. And now I'm going to go really deep into the bottom with this. So we're not going to take it too far up, to really try to emphasize it's quite dark down at the bottom of each of the little flowery parts. Now, I was interestingly watching someone do some art on a video this morning, and she was using a hand lens, and I was wondering whether that might be something I could benefit from with my dodgy eyesight. But I'm never sure whether it's how much it's going to help me, whether it's going to just allow me to see my mistakes more closely, or whether it's actually going to allow me to make less mistakes. So I'm not sure. I'm sort of in two minds as to whether it's something I should get or not. I don't think we have one, so it's something I would have to acquire. Now I'm just going to use a last colour, Indigo Light, to just do a really tiny, I'm just going to try and sharpen it to a good point, a really tiny amount right in the depths. Because I think this, say here, this point here is quite deep inside the plant, so it will be really shadowy. So I'm just going to try and emphasize some shadows. You don't have to do this sort of final step, but I'm just trying to think about where it would be really deep and just put a little bit of depth in there, and I think it will make a difference. But it's just a sort of little extra bit really. I'm also sort of trying to separate out each little petal a little bit, so sort of going over those black lines, because the black lines get covered in the pencil that we've used already, so they can fade a little bit, which for some people is good. Some people don't like seeing the black lines in their artwork, but I think here they actually help us to define the shading and shadows. Oops, see that one, I've done it on the top of the flower instead of to the side because I was inaccurate. I'm just going to erase that because I don't want it there. This is a Tombow mono eraser. Where's my brush? There we go. Oh, I just brushed my pencils along the desk. And the Tombow mono eraser can get into little details and it doesn't smudge. Although I have been told it smudges Prismas, but I can't think if I've used it for those or not. I don't use Prismas very often at the moment. Right, I'm just going to use my Cobalt Turquoise to go back over some of those areas where I erased a bit too much and just pop the colour back in a little bit. I think we're done with those florals. Okay, now I'm going to have a look at this leaf. Now, what should we do? I think I want a darkish, but not really dark green. I think I'm going to start with the hooker's green. It is quite dark, because I think we need some dark, because we've got dark in here. We need a little bit of dark going on, and then we can put some lighter shades in as well. So the opposite to what I was doing here, I'm going to start with my darkest, and the reason for that is because I haven't decided how light I'm going to go yet. So I'm just going to use this to sort of mark in the shadows and the darker areas where I see they would be. You may not agree. I'm thinking it might be shadowy at the bottom of the leaves and sort of where they meet and touch the stem. Goodness, I'm thirsty. I've got a cup of coffee next door, but I daren't bring it in because I'll probably spill it all over my art things. Next to my desk next door, I'm just choosing my next colour. Next to my desk next door I have a shelf where I put my tea. I think I'm going to use the Castle Green Deep. I have a feeling it's more of a bluey green. It's got a nice point, this one. I used my Derwent Super Point Mini Sharpener on this one because it kept breaking, and it does a grand job of stopping pencils breaking. I should use it all the time, but I don't know, I don't really. I just like my little Staedtler. It's just what I've used a lot. And the Derwent Point Mini also feels like it's taking off a lot of pencil, but it's not really. It takes a lot of wood but leaves you with a very long point. It doesn't remove too much of the edge. Okay, that's quite a nice colour actually. I don't want to go too much lighter, I don't think. Where can we go? Maybe we'll go Castle Green, which is the sort of next step, and see whether that, I think I'm going to use that quite lightly over everything and see how that works. I'm just going to gently use it. Just try to build up a few layers where it's darker and less where you want it to be lighter. It's tricky in the smaller spaces, I realise that. And I know some people don't want to spend quite as long doing it. And I agree, sometimes when I'm doing a page, I feel that some features are more worth spending time on than others because they stand out more to the eye. Also, I think about the fun factor for me. If I've spent a long time on an item and I'm just not feeling it anymore, I stop. I just sort of find a way of ending how I'm colouring it without sort of spoiling it. I'm bringing back in some Castle Green Deep because I just want to fiddle that transition between the light and dark. In places for me isn't nice enough. Nice? What a word. It's a bit too harsh. So I'm just sort of fiddling, really. You may not even see much of a difference, but I'm not ready to leave it alone yet. I have to say, on once or twice fiddled so long on a picture that I've ripped the paper. But you need an awful lot of layers in Johanna's books before that happens, or a lot of heavy pressure. I try not to use heavy pressure. Yeah, I'm just going to sharpen actually the hooker's green and just go back in with it in just a couple of places. So just the hookers, and I'm just going to do some of these shadowy areas just a little bit more. Like here, I didn't do a bit there and I feel it needs just a touch. And in between these leaves I feel there isn't enough shadow. It really is just me fiddling. But I think it can make a difference. Let's just give that a sweep and have a look. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, I am going to stop there and have a little think about what to do with this one. It looks rather fun, so we shall see. But thank you today for watching. I hope that was okay for you. And I'll be back same time tomorrow-ish, probably same time, with this little chap. So have a lovely day and happy colouring.